Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm still playing 7 Ages. Lots of crazy things happened in the last turn. The modern state converted the army of the Armenians, and now it's gonna be very hard for the Armenians to survive the next turns. The French invaded some interesting areas in Africa, Senegal, Carthage, Egypt. So they control now quite a lot of Africa, and well, that helps them when it comes to the points for the colonies. And the most important thing was this new dynasty that appeared in Japan that allowed the red player simply to take the Japanese empire from the yellow player. So that was a pretty tough one. And here it's also a very interesting situation. We're all in a very close range, at least the 3 leading players. But now, after this Japanese move, I think the red player is, well, probably the one who's doing best right now. Okay. So first player is green. Nobody starts an empire. So we go right into the production actions, and not too many actually. Only the Irish are producing. So they're not doing that bad actually. 1, 2, 3, that's 9. And 4, that is 13, 14 with their city, and they gotta pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maintenance, so they gain $9. That brings them to 10. Now let's see. We might simply build 2 ships. Yeah, maybe that's the best, but I'm not sure yet. I just realized something. I could not go to Sweden with these guys. That's simply not possible because I had to leave my controlled... I had to leave the North Sea, which is adjacent to a controlled area of mine, and I cannot enter the Baltic Sea with the galley. I would have been destroyed instead, but I'm gonna go to Norway instead. Okay. Okay, so I paid $9 for a galley and 2 rifles. Okay, there we go. Another production? No, actually not. So we come now to the trade actions, and again a few empires are in a dark age. So the United States, for example, and they want to do a trade here. So they give that 6 card. And they have a trade modifier of, whoa, of +2. Well, that's pretty impressive. So they could trade with the English or with the Irish, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's still in range. Remember, the range of a country is always the era in which it is. So they have a range of 5 because they are in era 5. Yeah, so they could also trade with the Japanese over the Pacific, for example, but they're going to choose the Irish because the Irish are not that great. I think they have a trade value of +0. So let's, well, the Irish only have a single card, that one, a 5. So let's draw first for the Americans. That's a 5, so that gives them an 11. +2 is a 13. And the Irish, that's also not bad, that's also a 5. But that's just a 10, because, yeah. Okay. So then we change the cards, and the United States have won that trade, which allows them now to move up to 2 spaces ahead, but I think they will just move 1 space ahead. That gives them a little time before they enter the next Dark Age. Okay. Another one, trading the French. They are 1 space before the next Dark Age, so they definitely want to get out of this, or they want to avoid it. So they also do a trade action, and they have that 6 card here. And let me see whom they're going to trade with. Possibly with the Armenians. I think they kind of suck. Yeah, they have a -1 modifier. The French have a... Wait a second. They are here, they are in age 5. So that gives them a +2 modifier in ages 4 and 5. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, and the Armenians, well, basically they're not very interested in trading because this thing doesn't have a big future anyway. They might simply throw in a bad card. Maybe that one here. That kind of sucks. Okay, so the French draw first, and that's a 6, so that's a 12, +2 is a 14. Obviously, that's a clear victory here. That's a 5, so that is a 7, -1, a 6. Okay. Let's see, that's for the French. So that means that the French can now move 2 spaces ahead and kind of avoid this Dark Age here. Another trade, yeah, the Japanese, they are also in a Dark Age here. So I want to get out there. And they only have that 6 card that they just traded with the Irish. So let's see. They might trade with the Vietnamese or the Satavahana. Yeah, the Satavahana have a modifier of -1, so they're going to trade with them. And Well, Japanese have a modifier of +1 in H6. So, well, obviously it doesn't make too much sense, so it might be a good idea to say, I simply throw this card in the 3, which is not good anyway. On the other hand, this New World card might give the Irish an interesting option. And so maybe I don't want to play that. I wonder if I should play this card. Yeah, I'll throw in this card here. So that's a 2. So again, the Japanese draw first. Okay, that's just a 2. So that's 8 plus 1 is 9. And then it's the Satavahana. That's also just a 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. So no doubt who's the winner here. Okay. And that allows the Japanese to move 2 spaces ahead. So they now have battleships and, well, they kind of are on the way, well, in a slow fashion, but they are on the way to the game end, slowly. Okay, and now we come to the maneuver phase, and here the Russians actually start. And they want to now spread out into Asia. They start with these units here. So these units can move 2 spaces. So that's one unit moves in here, another unit here, I guess. And now they can use here, they can move with the cavalry, which can move up to 3 spaces. So that would be here, for example. And these guys move here. These guys move up here. Okay, that's definitely no cavalry, just a crappy standard unit, which might go, I don't know, maybe here. Or on the other hand, maybe here. Just a minute. I want these guys to move here, and these guys to move here. Okay, and then we got them here. Well, actually, we can also, it's a little risky. We could attack, of course, Sichuan, but that's a little risky. Why do that? We can simply move here and then move, I don't know, maybe with these guys here. So, well, with that first turn we already managed to grab a decent area of Asia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. So that's a good start, I guess, especially because the Russians want to be big in Asia only on land, not on sea. So they don't have to compete with the Japanese here. That's a really impressive empire now. Definitely the biggest in the world, there is no doubt about that. Amazing, really amazing. Okay, do we see another maneuver action? I'm pretty sure we will. Wait a minute. I think I made a mistake. I wanted to do a second trade action here with the Vietnamese. That's why I played that wild card. And I'm going to do that. Simply forgot that. The Vietnamese don't lose a glory point because they have democracy. And they can now do a trade here. So they throw in this 5 card. And they have a trade modifier of +0. And then we see they could now trade with the Satavahana again, which have a trade modifier of -1. So, interesting to see now. I mean, they can actually throw in that 6. There is no reason to make it too easy for the others, and yeah, I think these events are also pretty good. So I think we see that 6. So that means the modifiers, this modifier is not important anymore, and the one who has the simpler, the higher overall result simply wins. So we start here with the Vietnamese. They come with a 5 altogether. And the Satavahana, well, that is only a 2. So the Vietnamese managed to win that trade, and therefore can move 2 spaces ahead. So let's go back to the maneuver phase now. We see a maneuver here of the modern state. And of course they want to make some points here. They have a pretty strong army. So, well, let me see what I can do here. Okay, we have 3 conflicts here where the modern Mesopotamians fight against the Armenians. And we start here. You can always move on to the next country if you have double the number of units as your opponent has in the country where you want to move through. And that's the case here in Assyria. So we have an attack value of 12. And they have a defense value of 4. So it's not a big surprise here, I guess. That's a 14 against a 9, so no casualties for the Mesopotamians. They control now Assyria. I mean, they simply have this advanced technology and all, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to resist here. Then they attack this single catapult here. So that's overall a 10 against a 1. 17 against a 5. Okay. And we got a similar situation here in Palestine, where we have a 12 against a 1. So that's a 12 against a 6. But also that doesn't matter. Okay. The only interesting thing is now if we will see a battle for Egypt here. That could happen. I'm pretty sure that the Mesopotamians will try to get Egypt from the French, and yeah, I don't think the French can hold on to that actually. Maybe not in the next turn yet, but if they do a production action with this administrator, they have a few more units then and can easily attack Egypt. Okay, now let's see, any more maneuver actions? Well, no, actually not. So we come to the destiny phase now, Satavahana. The green player has the problem basically that the Hausa city-state, I mean, he sucked. They just started, they haven't even moved their army, but it's obviously they don't have a chance now because since the French troops occupied now all the fertile areas in Africa, it's nearly going to be impossible for them to really generate a reasonable income. And it's also going to be pretty impossible for them to be number one in Africa because Zimbabwe is simply too strong. So in the end, I decided, after we've seen this French invasion, to simply discard them right away and search for something of more interest. So let me see, I can well, I think I want to throw away these 3 cards and then draw 5 new ones. Well, the Macedonians, Latin America, that could be interesting. Sadly, it doesn't work with English colonies, only with Norman, Portuguese, French, Italian, Roman, Spanish or Venetian land areas in the Americas. These type of land areas don't exist. The Italians, that's an option. We might think about that. It's an option. It's not great, but it's an option. 2 more. The Carthaginians, well, obviously not. And the last one are the Woods Americans. Well, they could be played, but they're also not exactly what I want. They start with an income of just 12 and yeah, I think that doesn't make too much sense. Not while the USA already exists. Yeah. So, another destiny action. Okay, the Armenians, they're actually doing an action now. Also destiny action. So they're going to throw away a few cards here. Well, I guess these. Probably only these. Okay, and also that one. So they can draw 3 new cards. The Etruscans. They're also looking for some good cards, for some good empires to start. I mean, they have the Danes and the Poles. They might actually start them. That's an option. The Chimu. Definitely not. And the Sudanese, well, they could be started, but hey, I really got a problem with these African countries. The Zimbabweans are doing fine, but it's going to be very hard for the Sudanese to compete with them, especially because Islam is not in play. If Islam would have been in play, that would have been an interesting country, but, well, it's not there. Okay. The next destiny action comes here from the yellow player. He's also looking for an empire to start. Byzantines, well, wait a second, they could throw away a few cards if they want to do that. Hey, this one, that one. Well, they could hold on to this one, maybe. Yeah, okay, that's... Okay. So, we got this one here, and 3 more cards. Well, there we have Islam. The Slavs, they also cannot be played. On the last card, the Norwegians. Well, that's an option. They might be cool. We've seen them, but they were destroyed by a volcanic eruption, I think. But I think they will come into play for the yellow player. Okay, the final destiny action comes from the red player. He simply only has 1 card left, so it's definitely time for him to collect a few new cards. He throws this one away and draws some new ones. Well, that's definitely a good card with a 7 trade value. That's good for the Zimbabweans, for example. Heavy taxes, not that strong. He basically is happy with the empires he has. He wants some interesting trade cards and something like that. A silver mine. Awesome. Industrial Revolution. He might be able to play that. A copper mine. Yeah, these are good cards for him. And the modern Chinese, a gold mine. That's awesome. That's just great. Very, very cool. So it's more and more going definitely in the direction that we might see the red player as a winner. Although it's not over yet. So we see now a civilized action. And we have here the Dutch player. Well, my neighbor is practicing guitar right in front of my window, but that's fine. So the Dutch player, well, first they could play some cards. Okay, so basically he wants to be rich, have artifacts, and maybe establish a strong position in Central Europe. So it might be a good idea to produce a few more units here. But okay, for now I'm gonna play that copper mine, which gives them $10. So there we go. And that's basically, what was it with the railways? I think he needs industrial revolution, doesn't he? Yeah, so no railways for the Dutch. So then they can promote a leader, and basically it would be great for them to find a new artist since Rembrandt died. Do they have a named leader for that age? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. No, they don't. Okay, so let's take a pick here. That's an explorer. Well, we don't need that guy, so we can take another pick here. A strategist and tactician. That's not that great. Okay. So then we could adopt the religion or government. Well, that's not possible. We already have these. We could modernize our units. I think that is also not possible. And then we could urbanize. Yeah. I think I want to change that into a level 5 city. Okay, I think I missed to press the start button here. We are in the discard empire phase, and I discarded the Ethiopians here. They simply didn't generate any points, and the Hausa, there was no chance for them to become successful with the French now in northern Africa. So, yeah. And that is then the end of the turn. Well, few empires were gone. The Russians expanded big. But wait a second, of course we are not done yet. We move ahead. Here on the progress track, the modern Mesopotamians enter a new age. That means that this administrator dies, which is a little sad. The Ethiopians, the marker is removed. Okay. So let's harvest glory. The Satavahana, I think they are no longer the biggest in the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No way. No way. The Russians are the biggest empire in the world. So it's only 3 points for the Satavahana, which is still enough, I think, not to discard them. 1, 2, 3. And then the Russians, well, these are 3 points for Europe. And now let's see if they are already number 3 in Asia. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, probably not. The Vietnamese seem to be bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no doubt here. So that means only 3 points for the Russians. 1, 2, 3. And then we come to the United States. 2 for the Americas. 2 for being the biggest Christian empire, I guess. Yeah. And that's it. So that's 4 points for the States. 3, 4. The Dutch. Okay, that's 1 point for their homeland and 2 points for the artifacts. 3 more points here. And the Vietnamese, okay, homeland, Southeast Asia, Asia, so 5 points for the Vietnamese. Okay, so we don't have a single, although the Vietnamese are very successful, but we don't have this massive generator of points here, but all 3 countries are doing well, and well, the Vietnamese are actually doing very well. I think we can say that. The Armenians suck. I think it is 2 points for them. 1 for their homeland and 1 for being the second biggest Christian empire for now. So, well, at least something. But, yeah, it's not good. The English, well, that's their homeland. They have the most colonies because they are ahead in turn order, so that's 3 for them here. And they have the... well, they control... I think they have the second biggest fleet, but I have to count that. Okay, so actually the Irish, they also have the same amount of ships. They also have 4 ships. Wait, the English have 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they also have 5 ships actually. And the Japanese have more. So, because the Irish were before the English... No, they were not. This is yeah, so the English have the second biggest fleet. So that means it's 4 points, 5 points for the English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The yellow player, well, he's not that great anymore now, after he's lost the Japanese. French, 1 for their homeland. Second when it comes to the colonies. Second in Europe. So that's 3, 4 points for the French. 2, 3, 4. And what about the modern state? Well, that's only 1 point for controlling the homeland for the modern state. So I think yellow is out of the race here. And now it's going to be interesting, the red player. The Zimbabweans generate 3 points for controlling Africa and their homeland. The Irish, okay, that's 2 points for Britain and their homeland. And, well, let's see. They're definitely not the biggest Christian country. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're even with the Armenians. But because the Armenians were ahead in turn order, it means that the Irish are the third biggest country, so that gives them then 3 glory points. 1, 2, 3. And the Japanese, that's now the strong empire. They are still biggest in the world as a seafaring nation, so that's 3 points. Okay, so the way I understand the rules is that you also gain glory points for resources, even if there's a disorder marker in that area here. So that means 3 glory points for the Japanese for the wheat and 2 for having the most money. So that's then 8 glory points for the Japanese here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as you can see, they actually grew a little bit. This range between these two empires grew a little bit, I think. Okay. So this is now the end of the turn. Yeah. And, well, hope to see you in the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.